Good afternoon, class. Here's my student, Monse. She's a sixth grader, and we're going to be doing multiplying and dividing rational numbers. And to begin with the lesson first, I'm going to go back to reviewing adding and subtracting fractions. So as you can see, I have my manipulatives here. There are circles that have the fractions written on there. So this is a really great tool to go back and use it to help your students refresh their knowledge on fractions, and it gives them a really whole picture because it's really difficult to teach multiplying and dividing rational numbers using manipulatives. It's a very abstract concept. So to begin with, I'm going to go ahead and give her 1/2. So she's going to write 1/2. 2 over, and then she's going to write 2/5. And we're going to go ahead and add these. So the thing we're going to do is we're going to give her, she's going to get 1/2 to represent the fraction, 1/2. And then we're going to get our 2/5. So here we have it underneath it. So then she's going to go ahead and add her fractions. But before we can add our fractions, we have to have a common denominator, which is the number at the bottom. So I want you to go ahead and try to find a common denominator for both of those fractions. You move this up. Okay, so she went ahead. We multiplied 1 times 2. Oh no, see what happened. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to fix it. So, okay, so you got that one right, but the common denominator for this one, our greatest common denominator would be 10. So instead of multiplying with the 2, it should have been a what?
5.
A 5. There we go. You can use a different mark to distinguish it. Okay, so now that fraction is correct. So let's fix this one. Okay, let me move this out the way so I can go closer. Okay, so she went ahead now and added. So go ahead, add straight across. You have 9 over 10. So we have our fraction now to represent this. First we had 1/2, so we had that to represent that, and our 2/5, we lost one. It's okay. Here we go. And then 5 out of 10, we do not have that one. And that's what we got, 9 out of 10. So now we're going to do the same problem, but now we're going to subtract. So we're going to change our symbol, such subtraction, and erase that. So these are the fraction models that I had for her to use. It's a good concrete model to get an idea of what a fraction looks like to begin with, because I know multiplying and dividing rational numbers gets a little bit more abstract because you're kind of limited to the manipulatives you can use. So this was a great idea to help her kind of visualize and see it better. So we're going to go ahead and move our fractions to the side. So now we're going to do the same problem that we did earlier, but subtraction. So we're going to go ahead and find the common denominator. So our common denominator that she used was 5 over 10. I mean, it was 10. And then her fraction was 5 over 10 minus 4 over 10. So then just go ahead and what are you going to do?
Subtract.
There you go. 1 over, keep your denominator. 10. Good. Okay, and that was just a little brief introduction to adding and subtracting fractions because I already know she can do that because she's a sixth grader, so she already had an idea. She already mastered that strategy, how to do that. So now what we're going to go ahead and move on is to rational numbers. So now we're going to get a little more complicated. So to introduce this lesson, first I'm going to tell her, what is a rational number? Do you know what a rational number is? You do? Okay, what is a rational number?
A number that can be written as a
ratio. So any number that can be written as a ratio. So for that rational number, we're going to have our numerator and our denominator. So here I have my definition of it, so she has an understanding of it, of what a rational number is. And here are some examples of rational numbers. So here we have a regular whole number, 5, then we have a decimal, and we have decimals. But decimals can also be written as a rational number. So here are some examples of what rational numbers are. So we're going to go ahead and start with the same problem that she added and subtracted with. So you can go ahead and erase all of that. So our fraction is 1/2 times, go ahead and write it. Oh, you already have, there you go. 2 over 5 equals blank. So when we're multiplying rational numbers, the first thing you want to do is basically the same step that we did. We kept for a common denominator. Oh no, we don't. This time we don't have a common denominator. Sorry. Oh, come back. I lost you. So for this one, we don't need a common denominator like we did in the other one before. We have the same fraction that we did before. It's 1/2. I know it looks like a 6. 1/2 times 2 over 5. And we can also draw it out. So I have 1/2 shaded. But this is not really going to help us as much, but it still gives her a good visual. So we have 1. Oh, it's kind of hard. 3. Oh, I can't even. Well, you have it there. Okay, so she has a representation of the 2/5 already, right there. So for this one, we said that we're going to go ahead and write 1 times 2 over 2 times 5. Okay. And you're going to go ahead and cross multiply. Multiply straight across. Equals 2 over what? 10. So we have our answer, 2 over 10. Can this be reduced?
Yes.
So reduce means when you make this fraction smaller, but it's still the same fraction, it's still equivalent. So equivalent means equal. So we can divide this fraction by what?
2.
2. That'll give us
1/5.
1/5. So that is our final answer, 1/5 for that one. Okay. So that is how you multiply rational numbers. So now again, we're going to keep the same fraction. So go ahead. We're going to keep 1/2. We're just going to change the side to division. 1/2 divided by 2/5. So this one's going to be a little bit different. So what you're going to do is look at your first fraction. You're going to say keep 1/2, change the sign. So you're going to go from division to multiplication. And the reciprocal, do you know what the reciprocal of 2/5 is? So what reciprocal means is basically we're going to change the numerator and denominator. The denominator is going to go on top, so we're going to have 5/2. So every time we divide, you want to make sure that you change the sign and flip the fraction. So this is how I remember it. Keep, change, flip. So then what you want to do is go ahead and do the same thing. 1 times 5, 2 times 2. And then just multiply straight across. 5/4. Can we reduce that?
Yes.
We can. 5. Can you divide 5 into 4? You can, but you're going to get like a big decimal. So but this is called an improper fraction. So that means the number on top is greater than the number at bottom. So we can just go ahead and leave that as our answer. Okay, so that's how we do that. So remember, do you remember the steps about how to divide?
Yes.
What do we do to the first fraction?
We keep it.
The sign?
We change it.
To?
The opposite.
And what do we do to this?
We flip.
Flip it. And what is this called? The what? It starts with an R. The reciprocal? Oh, the reciprocal. There we go. So that's an important word that you need to know. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead into our little game that I have. We're not going to take much time into it, but this is an extended lesson that you can do after you had completed explaining to the child how to multiply and divide. So we're going to go ahead and do our fraction bars the same way that she has them. And I'm going to move this to the side. Okay. So now she has a deck of cards. We removed the kings, queens, and jokers, and we kept the ace because they can represent 1. So what we're going to do the cards is she's going to shuffle them. She's going to shuffle the cards. And then what you want your student to do is to put a card on top and in the bottom. So we're going to create fractions using a card. So go ahead and pick your cards. Two over 5, 4/8. Okay, so let's divide. So you can use this whiteboard to show your work. So we have 2/5. Go ahead, write 2/5. Divided by 4/8. So what did we say?
We keep this number.
We keep this fraction.
We change this to the opposite.
Yeah, change the sign.
And we flip this.
Yes, and what was it called? The reciprocal. There we go. And then what do we do after that?
Multiply.
Multiply straight across. Could we reduce this fraction before? We could reduce the 8/4 beforehand, but you can also go ahead and reduce your answer that you got 16/20. Oh, I really like how you did your little factor thing. Good job. You can't? It's hard? Okay, so it may be a little bit easier if we went ahead and reduce this one. So you know we can reduce the 8/4 by what?
2.
A bigger number.
4.
4. All right, so we could divide this by 4, divide this one by 4. So 8 divided by 4 is
4.
No, it would be 2.
Would be 2.
2 over
1.
1. Okay, so our new fraction is 2 over 5 times 2 over 1. So that would be a lot easier now. So go ahead. And your final answer is
4.
4 over 5. There you go. All right. So now to do the multiplication one, you can go ahead, erase your board. Okay, let's get some other cards and we're going to change the sign. This time we're going to multiply. So it's going to be a little bit faster now. So it's going to get per cards. Okay, that is a 9. Okay, so this is what she has. So what do you have?
Not
1.
1 over 9, 3 over 7.
Okay, so go ahead and write it on your other board so we can solve it. One over 9 times, because we're doing the multiplication symbol. Okay, so before we solve it, can we reduce 1 over 9?
No.
No. Can we reduce 3 over 7?
No.
No. So are we going to keep change flip on this one?
No.
No, we're not. So what are we going to do to find our common denominator? We already know we can use 9 times 7. So you can multiply this side by 7 and then this side by 9. Okay, so go ahead and do that. It's the same. 7 times 9, 36. I mean 63, sorry. Alright, so you want to multiply on the side so you can get that. And what did you get?
189 over 1,286.
There you go, good job. So that's your final answer. So again, I just want to thank my student for being so patient and being a wonderful student for helping me do this assignment. So I hope you guys all learn how to teach multiplying and dividing rational numbers. I know it's a little bit hard because it's very abstract and you really can't use as much as manipulatives, but I figured incorporating cards would be a different way to make it a little bit more interesting versus just writing down on a worksheet. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys learned something, and thank you again. So any feedback is welcome. Thank you.